Okay, this is the last stage now of this model. So we have made all the components, the tabletop, the legs, the leg holder, the underplate. Now what we're going to do is we are going to have a look at how we create this assembly. So we're going to bring all the components in, assemble them together, and we're also going to bring in the nuts and the bolts to hold this all together from our library. So these are standard components we can bring in from the library. So we'll have a look at how we do that. This is Guide to SolidWorks. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and let's dive into having a go at doing this. And you'll see, because I've got all my parts open, let's delete that off. Because I've got all my parts open, you'll see they're in here. Now the assembly that we started off showing at the beginning, just to show what the product's going to look like, is there. But the other individual parts here, leg 2, leg holder 2, tabletop 2, and under table plate are the pieces that I am interested in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the tabletop. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to drop that in. Okay, so that's dropped straight into the model. Now, that's just dropped one part in. There's another way here. I can drop all the rest in one go if I want. I can click one, hold control, click another, and click another. So I've got the 3 there that are going to go onto this. So I can go drop. And each time I click, it'll let me drop another piece in. Now I do need 2 of these table legs. So if I go to insert another component, I can click the leg again and drop that in again. Okay, so you can see now that I've dropped in all them components. I just need to put them together, because at the moment they're just separated across the page. So this is where we're going to mate them. So we use the mate tool here to mate our components together. So if I click this underface here, click this face here, it will line them up so that they're on line with each other. And you'll see it's picked a coincidence mate, so that just gets them lined up. Then, if I tick that, we will still stay in the mate. I'm going to click this inside circle and this inside circle, and I'll just pull them circles in line with each other. Now that's still going to allow it to rotate, so if I show you now, if I get this, it's still going to turn, which is not what we want. We want it to stay lined up, so what we can do with that is pick this edge here and this edge here, and that will lock that in, so it won't be able to rotate anymore. Oh, I exited that rather than ticking it. Show you that again. So click this line here and that line there, and it'll lock it into place. Tick that, I'm happy with that. You can see that underplate now is sat perfectly in place with this section here. Now, you can see an error here. This slot is too big, way too big for what I want. Now that means that I have not done the sizes correctly in there, which is fine, because what we can do is we can go back to that model. So if I click on this model, it'll highlight which one it is in the table at the side. If I right click on it, open up the part, and it'll pull that part up for me like so, straight away, without me having to try and figure out and find out where it is. So if I come to this now, drop down the cut with them 2 circles, right click and edit, you'll see I can edit this sketch here. It's 50mm wide, 12 radius. I don't want a 12 radius. I want that to be 6. So we made a little bit of an error there. 6 radius means it's a 12 diameter. Tick that, I'm happy with that. And this is where we can show that SolidWorks is a parametric modeling system. If I save that over what we've done, go back to the assembly, which is here, and it automatically changes it in the assembly for me, like so. Okay. Now I'm going to make this leg holder underneath here. So I'm going to click this bottom side, mate, click this side. Now I'm not happy that that is the way that's mated. It's mated up into it, so I need to turn that round. So we've got an option here of mate alignment. So I don't want it to mate so they're both in the same way. I want it to flip it round. So if I click that one, it'll flip it round for me like so. Tick OK, and I'm happy with the way that is sat now. Now it's not in the right place, but I'm happy with the fact that it's sat underneath like so. I'm going to pick this circle here and line that up with this circle here. So that's going to give me a concentric mate. Then I'm going to spin this right round like so. And I've got this slot that needs to line up with this circle, which is a bit of a pain. But what we can do, now I've spun that around, I can get this edge and mate it parallel with that edge, and it'll just straighten everything up for me. Tick, and we've got that all lined up now. So all we've got left is to put these legs in place, and then some bolts to add in. So let's put some of these legs in place. Now, what I want to do, first of all, is grab one of these at the top and mate that with the inside of here, like so. Now, I want that to be tangent. I want it to be on the other side. And click. So it's tangent. I want it to be on the inside of it. Click, then I'm happy. Okay. I'm going to drag this down a little bit, and you can see it staying on that inside. I'm going to do the same now to the top. So click there, that face, and it should pull it up to the top like so, keeping it tangent to that face. I'm going to do the same with this one. So I'm going to grab this, but rather than making it tangent, I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to find this arc and make it concentric to that arc. So that means it'll sit in that arc nicely and tick like so. Last bit I need to do is line up the center holes. Now, if we've done this correctly, which we've not quite done, we should find that this lines up nicely, but it's not going to. So what we need to do is flip one of them around. So I'll show you how we do that. Get rid of that. So I want this to line up with this, but I want it to be flipped around the other way, like so. So you see now they've just flipped around so that they are now in line with each other, them two faces. Tick OK, and then I can line up the holes here. One there, and one there. Now they've lined up. So we've got what look like the cross legs in place. However, it's not sat inside our table. It's sat quite a distance out. This is 250 long. This is 300 wide. So if I set a distance mate from that face, well, we'll move it first because it'll make it easier. We'll move this inside that edge. And if I set a distance mate from this edge to that line, it's going to try and line it up. If we say distance, and it's 200 to 300, so it's 25 mil different on each side. So if we set that to 25, it should be sat halfway along now of our product. Tick like so, and we've got our legs in place. And that's our product fully assembled. So all we need to do is add in some bolts. So how do we do bolts? Now, we're not going to start modeling bolts because that's where it becomes a bit of a pain. What we're going to do is we're going to add them in from the library. So if we go over to our library here, we've got the option. If I go back, I'll show you where we all are. When you come into the library, you'll have a toolbox option. Click on the toolbox. And you should be able to find the British symbol or the BSI symbol. Double click on that, and you will get bearings, bolts, keys, nuts, rings, so on and so on. Washers. We are after bolts for now, so let's grab a bolt. We're going to go for Hex Bolts and Screws. Click on that, and we've got a range of different options. We'll start with this first one. We'll use this first one here. Click it, grab and drag it in. And it will ask us then to set the size and parameters that we want. So I'm going to start off with the two underside ones here for these holes underneath, which I know is going to be an M10. And it's going to be 45 mil long. Okay, so you'll see it shrink down and change the bolt size there. Thread's 26. I'm going to set it as a cosmetic thread. I'm not bothered about, so you just see it's a picture of a thread, not actually a cut thread. So I'm happy with that. Once I've got that set up, I'm just going to tick there, add that in. That'll give me one. And I've got another one that's floating. I want two, one for there and one for here. So if I drop that there, that'll let me add the second one in. If I've got enough, if I press escape, that gives me them two bolts. I do want to add a third one in. The third one is going to go through here, through the legs, but that's going to different size. They're 10 M10s, this is going to be an M8. So I'll do the same, go into here. I'm going to get the same bolt, drag and drop it on. It'll ask me to pick the size again. This time I'm going to drop down to an M8. But this time, instead of 45mm length, I'm going to go to 70mm length. That will change its length, but that means it will fit all the way between the two bars because it's 60mm wide. Tick that, I'm happy. That'll drop that one in, escape, and I've got the one there of that as well. Final thing, this is going to go through the legs, but I need a nut on the end to hold it in place. So if we come to here, we've done bolts. So if I drop that down, you'll see here we've got nuts. So let's click on nuts. I have a normal nut, and I'm going to have a nut with a flange on the end. So if I just click on that, drag it across, that'll drop in. Now it's already automatically picked up the M8. If it doesn't, just select the M8 nut, cosmetic thread, and then add that in as well. Okay, I'm just going to escape because I only want the one. That's all my nuts and bolts in. So what I can do now is put them in place. Now, we've got some holes in here. There's another way of lining these up. What I can do is if I go to the little eye at the top, the hide all types, drop that down, and I'll get a temporary axes view. Click on the temporary axes and it'll put all the lines in through the center of circles. So for this one, for instance, I can click on the line in the bolt, mate it to the line there. Okay, so that'll line that up. You can do the same with this one. Oh, gotta say I'm happy with that first. Same with this one, mate it to there. It's flipped the wrong way, so I'm just going to flip that round. So it's the right way. Tick. Move that up a little bit so it's where we want it. Ooh. Okay, and then my last one, that and that. Like so. Okay, so we've lined all them up with the centres. We'll line this one up as well while we're here and doing it. And I don't want it that way. I'm going to flip that round because I want it to fit on the other side of the bolt. Like so. Drag this across because it's going to come out this side. Let's drag this across so it's closer to where we want it to be. Okay, so we're there. Right, so we've got everything nearly where we want it. So let's finish off lining these up. So we've got a hole up here. I'm going to go back to mate. Top of the hole to the top of the bolt. That'll drag up and fit in place. You can see that you can see the visual, so it's made this slightly invisible so you can see where it's going to. Tick that we're happy. Same with this one. Top of the bolt to the top of the hole. Turn it until we can see it. The top there. And again, you'll see where it's lined up at the top. Okay with that. Last one. This time, we're going to make this back plate to this leg here. So it fits through. And then this front plate to this leg here. So we're connected on. Now we've got our lines in, now we've got all them parts in place. We want to get rid of all these little blue lines. So we go back to our eye, get rid of the temporary axes, clear the mate off, and we have our model fully assembled like so. Okay, and that's it for building our table. So hopefully you've got something from that. That should help you out if you wanted to have a go. We're doing a little bit of, or introducing yourself to sheet metal work, and also inputting components into assembly from the libraries. Have a play with it, see how you get on. Let us know what you think of the design and the drawing. and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.